As I mentioned earlier, this will be a very packed info session, and we wish to cover as many as possible, so I will begin. First, I would like to start with a line of acknowledgement that I wish to acknowledge this line on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional line of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this island. For today's agenda, we will start with the program introduction, then the overview of the Summer Abroad program. Then we'll ask the professors to introduce their own programs and their courses to share with the students. We also have students to share with their experiences. Then following that, we will talk about the actual details for the program, including the cost and how to apply, including the next step, following by the Q&A section. For today's attendees, here is all the list for the people who are here today. We have two instructors, Professor Bob and Professor Ken, who will be teaching two courses here in Japan next summer. We also have personnel from the Summer Abroad office, my colleagues who will be supporting you in the back end. We also have a student participant from this year, Amber, who will be introducing her experience as well. Just for your information, we Summer Abroad office located at 119 Central Street on the third floor. We do open to all students, so if you have any further questions or if you want to drop by, feel free to do so. And for sure, we can also be reached out through our online appointment booking system. Now let's talk about what is the Summer Abroad. So Summer Abroad essentially that the U of T courses take place in the summer time, but it will be short term, so it won't interfere with your regular academic year. It is often the small class size, usually around 25 to 35 students, so it will give you an opportunity to connect with other U of T students, instructor, and local experts. The best thing, what I think, is that you will get 1 full year U of T direct credit within 3 to 4 weeks, so you still have time to do other things in the summer. And this, because of its U of T direct credit, it will show up on your transcript, so which can be used to contribute to your CGPA. I think for the beneficial part of the Summer Abroad is that you will have immersive learning experience that through the different field trips will deepen your understanding for the programs. All those field trips are organized by us and curated by your professor and local staff for offering you a valuable experience. So why doing that? Of course, you're here, but considering doing a Summer Abroad can provide you with an immersion of experience that will feel like to be a student at the university. So you will be studying there for the whole month, not only studying, but also living there. So there's a good opportunity for you to make lifelong friends, gain independence and confidence, and it also be a great opportunity for professional and personal development because employers like to see international experience. So historically, we have been receiving very positive responses from our students. And I just want to mention for one thing is that this program, not only the Japan one, but also Summer Abroad in general, is primarily an academic program. So for 2026, we are excited to offer over 30 courses internationally across 17 international locations. And today, I just want to say thank you for joining today's session regarding the Japan program. For the Japan program, 2026, next year, will be the third on-site program in Japan. The program date is between May 9th to June 6th. It will be for 4 weeks. This year, we will have 2 courses running from Monday to Friday, normally in the morning part between the 9 a.m. to 12 noon. So both courses will have mandatory field trips that will happening outside the class hours, so well beyond maybe the designated class hours. There will be also program activities, we call it socials, organized by the on-site staff, including such as city walking tour or welcome or farewell events, and for sure for other social activities we will dive into later. This program, we just want to thank for our host partners by Keio University, and we're still negotiating the details with them, but we will share with more information with all the students. Again, this will be a primarily academic program. It is not for tourism, it's not for travel there, but you will be able to earn a U of T credit by the end of completion. That will conclude the general information for the program itself. Now we'll have Professor Bob to share his insight regarding his upcoming courses in Japan. Professor Bob.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, everybody. I'll be brief. I know we have a lot to cover, Joe, but this is my third time I'm anticipating in 2026 visiting Japan and presenting my course about dispute resolution, looking through the lens of the Asian culture, and we develop skills together through that. And here you see some photos of my time in Japan in the past. I've been there maybe a dozen times, probably more, and love it each time. I'm sure everybody tuned into here has your own opinion about the excellence of Japan. I don't have to sell that to you. The idea of thinking about social issues or government issues, legislation, these sort of things give it extra more meaning. As Joe mentioned, it's a predominantly academic program, but we make sure that it's connected to the place that we're in, and it's a great learning opportunity. So there you see me on a bike, and you're a little more active in Japan than we are other places, and lots of good food to eat, but wonderful experience across every day or every experience that you have. Maybe we'll look at what's next on the slides. And or are we showing my calendar this upcoming? Or anyway, I could talk a little bit more about the field trips, I suppose. We're going to do 2 a week over the 4-week period. And we haven't determined exactly what they are, but we try to get a sampling of an experience at a workplace, because I'm teaching in the Center for Industrial Relations and Human Resources. So I want to get you a sense of what work is like in Japan and how it compares to sort of the Western or North American style. And we look at the legalities of that. You can see some photos here that we visited a factory, but also we want to intersect it with the culture, because that does influence how people behave at the workplace. And you can see a photo there of us having a kimono tea ceremony, which is very popular. And I look forward to that again the upcoming year. And I think Joe has already arranged that one for us, hopefully. So what I need you to think, though, as you sort of anticipate my course, is that we have to, go with the flow. Japanese culture is complex and hard to navigate, and takes a little bit of work to plan. So we need some flexibility. And of course, every place we go, but Japan in particular, has a certain series of cultural norms and behaviors and traditions that we want to make sure that we embrace and respect and sort of navigate together. And so ultimately, as the case with any summer abroad program, you'll want to make sure that you're apprised of those cultures. As far as my course itself, I will continue to update a draft course outline so that you can see what those field trips start to shape up as. It takes a while to be able to schedule them and budget them, but also figure out how they fit on our schedule. But as I mentioned, we'll have 2 per week, and we'll be in the classroom 3 times a week. Looking on here. So yes, here is my calendar. And you can see that I haven't designated the names of the field trips, but as I mentioned, we'll probably visit a temple or shrine. We'll probably go to a factory, and certainly that kimono tea ceremony. I'm banking on that one early on in our time there. And we have other opportunities to connect to what I'm teaching in class. Depends on our schedule, but I usually like to show a cultural film, and we spend time doing that. It looks like we're going to do that in the first day of June based on my proposed draft summer abroad calendar. But one thing I'd just point out is on the sort of the left margin, you'll see each week I try to focus on a different aspect of what we're learning: culture, governance, and then the overall workplace ethos itself. But by the time week 4 comes around, and I have simulations each week where we do exercises, very comfortable ones, just practicing our own skills. We're going to learn how to resolve disputes in that context. And so that's the focus there. The other thing I'll mention is that we're going to have 2 sections. It worked out well last year where we had a morning class and an afternoon class. And so you'll be designated as one or the other grouping. And just to make it fair, I flipped them over. So the people that start off as morning class students for the first 2 weeks become afternoon class students in the second 2 weeks. Thanks for that slide. Here's a quick list. I won't make you look at this too long. It's just trying to show you my personality when it comes to visiting Tokyo. And there's a list of 10 things I love to do over there. And I'm a big soda pop fan. So there's certain restaurants that have unlimited beverages. And that's one of my favorite things to do in the morning, especially the very beginning. If you've ever traveled over there, you'll know that jet lag makes you hungry in the morning. So it's fun to have a big breakfast and that's one of my favorite things. But there's just generally socializing with people. I like there's a certain brand of yumeshi rice that I have every morning before I teach. There's great actually access to pop culture in different ways. I'll just flip down. Of course, everyone's been to a sushi train, conveyor belt restaurant. That's fun. I think I don't cycle as much as I used to, but that's a great way to get around as long as you do it safely, especially along the riverbanks. And I'll just flip down now to number 10 and say that there's great products. And I think especially now with the currency exchange, Japan has become a very affordable place to buy clothing or have a nice meal. And that's one great advantage right now of the currency. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay, thank you so much. And to all the students, please use the Q&A functions to pose your questions. Either our staff member or the professors or our student participant can answer and can see all the responses. Um, okay, thank you so much. And
Thanks,
let's
Joe.
move to the next course, which will be taught by Professor Ken. Professor Ken, the floor is yours.
Hi, Joe. How would you like me to move the slides? Like, should I just mention next slide?
Oh, yeah, you can do that. And I will, next slide.
Okay, next slide, please. Hi, everyone. So my name is Ken. My main appointment is at UTM. I teach in the religion program there. A lot of my work involves thinking about religion in relationship to culture. So I'm essentially doing that in Japan. So we're going to be looking at pop culture in Japan and connecting it to different ideas about religion. And so what I want to do just for the next few minutes is give you some examples of places that I'm planning for us to go. These are places where some of the field trips are still being finalized, but these are all places where I feel pretty sure that we'll be able to go. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of an example of the kind of thing that we'll be doing in the course, because I think this sometimes the idea of connecting religion to things that are not religious, if you're not familiar with doing that, can might not be obvious. Anyway, some of the topics that I'm thinking we're going to look at would include anime, food, fashion, things like that. So these are some of the ideas that I'm planning to talk about with you while we're in Japan. So we're going to look at Shinto, which is a Japanese religion. Some key ideas in Shinto include purity and pollution, and also relationship. With Buddhism, Japanese forms of Buddhism, there's a big emphasis on impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. And what do we do with that? How do we understand that? How do we incorporate that understanding into our life? And the various ideas and understandings of what it means to be enlightened. Some broad ideas about religion generally. We can talk about ritual, things like rites of passage, for example, how gender factors into religion and pop culture, and thinking about boundaries and how space is used. What marks entrances and exits, and how are people sort of moved through space, and how do we mark the difference between kind of regular space and sacred space? So these are all sort of different ideas that are going to come up during the course. Next slide, please. So this is one of the places we'll be going to. This is the oldest Buddhist temple in Tokyo. I mean, it's old in one sense. It was founded in the 600s, but then it was burned down in the Second World War when Tokyo was firebombed, and so it's been rebuilt since 1945. But as an institution, it's very old. So that's the entrance to the temple. Next slide, please. And that's what you encounter when you go through that entrance. And so it's actually the first thing you see is a market. And so this is one of the things that's really interesting about Japan is that a lot of the religious spaces are themselves also kind of pop culture spaces. So the market will sell all kinds of things, including food and keychains and posters, but it's all part of the temple grounds. Next slide, please. As it turns out, so Professor Bob and I didn't plan our courses together, but we have some overlaps in terms of things we're going to be doing. So he's also planning to visit the same temple, and the tea ceremony he mentioned. I had also planned to go there with students. So this is a photo from the website of that the company that runs the tea ceremony, and so that's actually right by Sensoji Temple. So we'll be doing both of those things on one day. But again, you can see here how space is being used. It's being used very carefully. There's that little tiny altar at the back. That's marking a space that's sacred that you should not go into. And you can see just the way the room is divided, the way the mats are arranged on the floor, how people are sitting. The clothing is different. It's very gendered, the clothing. So all of these things are sort of factors we're going to be keeping in mind. Next slide, please. So Shibuya is one of the busiest intersections in the world. I think it's actually classified as the busiest intersection in the world. So we'll be heading there. We're going to be thinking about, again, space, how space is used, the idea, what happens, outside a store, inside a store, entrances to shopping arcades, how this intersection is controlled, and maybe in some ways how it's not controlled. And very close to Shibuya. So we'll go to this intersection and we'll spend some time there. But there's sort of two spaces that are in this neighborhood that I want us to visit. Next slide, please. One is Harajuku, which is sort of a famous fashion area. Next slide. And also the Meiji Shrine is there. So this is one of the largest Shinto spaces in Tokyo. This is fairly new. This is maybe 100 years old or so. It's from the early 1900s. So not old at all, but kind of amazing to have a space like this so close. Like this is within walking distance of that crossing that you just saw a second ago. So you walk through a forest, and this is very typical of a lot of Shinto shrines. Next slide, please. That's sort of one of the main buildings inside. Next slide. And this is an example of where purity comes into play in Shinto rituals. So the ritual, which many of you might know, involves filling up one of these cups with water and then washing your hands, sometimes drinking it. So you're sort of purifying yourself before you go sort of further into the more sacred spaces. Next slide, please. This idea of purity and water connects to this film. This is an example of how to link culture, pop culture and religion. So Spirited Way actually has a lot of ideas drawn from Shinto, sort of Shinto religious practice and sort of perspectives. Next slide, please. A lot of the movie Spirited Way takes place in a bathhouse, and so there's constant sort of cleaning of different sorts of characters, and this cleaning becomes really important. And the sort of witch in the background, she also needs to be cleansed in different ways. She's sort of filled with pain and sort of lashes out and hurts people as a result. And they clean a river spirit. That's really important, a really important part of the film as well. But this notion of washing and bathing it runs all through the film, and it comes very much out of Shinto understandings. Next slide, please. And this is actually the start of the film. So you can see a Shinto gate there, just sort of an old gate leaning against the tree. So the family that the movie sort of focuses on, they sort of pull over on the side of the road as they're heading somewhere, and they take a kind of detour, and they pass this little gate, and then they go through a tunnel. And then the story becomes about the adventures of the daughter in this sort of odd place. So this idea of marking entrances and sort of going into different kinds of spaces that can be transformative. It's very key to a lot of Studio Ghibli films, which is this Spirited Way comes out of that studio. Next slide, please. There's another Shinto gate, as you can see. So this is a place I'm hoping we can get to. It's a little ways outside of Tokyo called Hakone. So this is a very, very famous Shinto gate here in the water. And then you can see Mount Fuji in the background. Next slide. And then finally, one of the early trips I'd like us to do is to visit Kamakura, where you can also see Mount Fuji. This is, again, not too far from Keio campus. This city is particularly known for, it's a center of Zen Buddhism, actually. Next slide. And this is a temple that I'd like us to visit. This is the oldest Zen training temple in the country. So this is kind of the heart of Zen. And Zen is a particular sort of Japanese version of Buddhism. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that and see some of the spaces. And again, you can sort of see how space is marked here. This you walk through a sort of archway, entranceway into the sacred space past it, but it's also integrated into the surroundings. So yeah, so that's hopefully a kind of uh, useful overview for you of the course. There's some key aspects of the course. In terms of timing, one of the things actually I skipped over at the beginning is the assessments. So there'll be a couple of tests. There'll be a reflection on what you've learned. The bulk of the grade, about half of the grade, will come from a project, and so you'll all be divided into groups, and each group will be assigned a topic. So your topic could be fashion, for example, or could be anime. And as a group, you will do a presentation where you link ideas about religion to your topic. And then you will do a final project, and you can do the final project as a group, and that will be the group project will be the sort of foundation of that project. So you can continue to work with the group to do the final project, or if you decided you don't like your group, you can break up with them and do it on your own. So either way is fine. But that last week of class is that's when we'll be doing the presentations in class. And that's, I think, all I have to say for now about the course.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, both professors, for providing all the insights. Again, to all the students, participants, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Q&A sections, and either our staff member or the professors will be able to tackle those in the Q&A section. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue with our program details. Regarding the Japan program, in 2026, we hope to still host our students at the Keio University. This is still to be confirmed, and students will also be reside near the campus with easy access to the classroom. For the Japan program, just like any other summer abroad programs, we will have on-site staff members to be able to support students, no matter on the initial days for things like where to get a SIM card, where to go to supermarkets. But they're also there to support you for the field trips. So on-site staff members will accompany students for all the field trips to support you there. And they will also provide the 24/7 emergency support just in case you get sick or for any other emergencies. For the program activities, this is another thing for the on-site staff member to do is that they will organize socials for students, including the orientation, getting to know the transportation system, getting around the city and how to get to the classroom. But they will also provide maybe walking tours or orientation in the first days. There will also be weekly social activities organized by them as well. And lastly, still to be confirmed, we will try to organize a farewell lunch or dinner for students to celebrate the completion of the program. More details to come. As for the accommodations, this will be housed near the public transport and short distance to the classroom. We will try to find, just like previous years, a single room for all the students with essential amenities, including Wi-Fi as well. Normally, our selection will close to the city attractions and shopping areas, just making as convenient as possible for all the students. And lastly, as you can see the photos on the right corner, is we'll try to aim to provide breakfast included in the accommodation for the students. That being said, being in Japan for 1 month, and I would suggest students to budget at least maybe Canadian dollars, $800 for any other meals, lunches, dinners, or late night snacks, who knows? Getting there, I mean, to either the accommodation or to Tokyo in general is fairly easy. Please note, there's no group flight. You are responsible to book your own travel plans. Feel free to arrive maybe a few days earlier to get rid of the jet lag, but the program will start on the Saturday. Then Summer Abroad, we will provide information on suggested flight itinerary, and travel from the airport to hotel is quite straightforward. But if students will take the recommended flight, which is available on our website, we will try to see maybe we can arrange for the airport shuttle as well. Now we will invite our student from this year, Amber, to talk about her experience this year. Amber?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Joe, for having me. So my name's Amber, and I'm really happy to be here today and share with you some of my experiences during the 2025 Japan Summer Abroad program with Professor Bob. So as Joe, Professor Bob, and Professor Ken mentioned earlier, the Summer Abroad program really highlights immersive learning experiences in the host country. And so the field trips are actually one of my favorite part of the program because we got to visit not only historical or like cultural sites, but also factories and even Mountain Fuji. So the photos on the left here and on the bottom were taken during our visit to the Meiji Shrine. And we were lucky to have a tour guide who walked us through the shrine and explained the history behind its construction. And I really enjoyed taking a quiet walk in the shrine because it kind of gave me like a sense of serenity. And it can actually be tied back to the cultural part of like the course in which Japanese culture really emphasizes um the concepts of Zen and serenity. And I'm sure you'll have your own unique experiences and thoughts when you go on field trips with the class. And another part of the program that I really want to highlight is that we get to plan our own trips in Tokyo and or even to a neighboring city like during the weekend outside of class time. So I'm a big foodie and my favorite thing to do with my friends is to explore all kinds of foods around the city. So you can see that we have Japanese oden and on the top upper right corner is the hitsumabushi, which is Nagoya style grilled eel on rice, and it's really good. I really recommend all of you if you're not allergic to like seafood or stuff, you can try it out. And on the bottom right here, we have the omurice. It's also really good. Like it's so fluffy, and when you like um cut it with a knife, it just melts. And what else do I want to share? Okay, so on the weekends, we get to visit like all different places with our own plan. And so on one of the weekends, I visited a flea market that featured a lot of traditional Japanese wares and foods. And I also went to a golden fish museum that really reflects the traditional Japanese aesthetics. So, a piece of advice I would say is to be explorative and be creative and just enjoy the trips with your friends.
Thank you so much, Amber. And yes, thanks to Amber, I also went to the Hitsumabushi, the Nagoya style grill eel restaurant, as per her suggestion, and I could certify that it was the best one I ever had in my life. Okay, let's continue with the presentation part, and let's talk about the program details. I hope now you want to apply. Let's talk about eligibility. Who can apply? So students must be in good academic standing, which means you're not on probation or you don't have any penalty in your record. As long as you have a CGPA over 1.75, you are eligible to apply. Even for the first year students, you can still apply even without the final grades because the selection committee will have access to your transcript. As for students in other faculties or professional faculty or graduate program, alumni, or even the non-degree student, you can still apply as well. Even for the students of other North American universities can apply too. But please keep in mind that we're prioritizing our current returning students, undergraduate students to apply. In terms of the application procedure, application will open tomorrow at 10 a.m. And application deadline is well into the January 14th. So this is considered as early deadline compared to the rest of the program. But don't worry, it's not first come, first serve. You do have time to well into the January 14th to submit your application. And the selection committee will only start to review your applications after January 14th. Please note that there's an application fee of $210 that is non-refundable. But for this year, in the same application, in the same fee you're paying to, you can indicate a second choice location in one application. For the admission criteria, what the selection committee is looking at is that first is your academic record for the past 12 months and relevance, of course, to the applicant's program of study. That being said, we understand that not all students are studying either in industrial relations or religion studies. So that's why our courses open to all the students from diverse backgrounds. In the personal statement part, you will be able to indicate why you want to do this, maybe despite you do not have any prior experience to that one. The selection committee will take a holistic approach and review your application thoroughly. And lastly, just like what we launched this year, there will be a video assessment as well. For more information, feel free to go to our website. If you can see on the top right, there's a tab called Apply. In this section, you should be able to see more information regarding the application procedures and deadlines, including more details regarding the video assessment. If you are ready to apply, starting from tomorrow, feel free to log into the top right corner, log into application. That is where you will fill out your application. The admission decisions will normally coming out in the late January to early February. And once you receive an offer, you do have 1 week to confirm, and then you will also need to pay for 1,000 non-refundable deposit to secure your spot. The remaining fee are due in March or April. We always concern about cost. Japan, as one of the most expensive programs across all the summer programs, we do want students to budget accordingly. So in the same program page, when you search for the Japan program, on the left side, you should be able to see a tab called costs. This is where you can find the updated information. When I produced this slides, it's still was the outdated one. We recently updated the information, I think, early this week. So if you log into the program page, you should be able to see the updated information regarding the cost for both international students and also domestic students. Please note that fees paid to us, fees to pay to U of T, that is what you need to pay to us within the same allocation after you've been accepted to the program. But you also need to budget the additional costs such as the flight tickets and the meals. What I mentioned earlier, maybe around $800 for your own expense. Now, we understand that studying abroad can be expensive, so that's why we want students to be budget accordingly and seek financial aids if possible. So for all the I think resources available across the campus, there are many places to check with. For example, check with your own registrar office, check with your own department, or check with even with the student union that they may have something for you to take on this kind of international opportunities. Please keep in mind that for domestic students, if you're currently receiving OSAP, please do so and apply for the summer OSAP extension, which can be applied to the summer abroad programs. For international programs, for the international students, you can also consider for the International Experience or IE Plus Award offered by the CIE, Center for International Experience. This award open to both domestic students and international students based on their financial needs. And I myself, I have received it in the past when I participated in the previous summer abroad programs, and I highly recommend students to do so. And we will have how to finance your summer abroad webinar in January 2026, and I highly recommend students to participate and to gain more information related to that. Regarding the visas, please note that due to legal restrictions, our staff here at Summer Abroad, we cannot advise you on visa. It will be your responsibility to secure your own visa, and please reach out to the Consulate of Japan to seek for more distinctions or definitions of what kind of visa you should be applying to. If needed, we can support students with a visa supporting letter upon admission to the program. And one last thing is that if you want to apply for visa and decide to use our supporting letters, please do so that apply your visa here in Toronto because our supporting letter can only be used in Toronto. All right, so Summer Abroad is committed to supporting all students in your studies abroad experience. So that's why we launched a website of EDIA resources for diverse group of students who want to pursue overseas studies. So feel free to scan the QR code on the right. Please note that this info session is being recorded and you can always access the information afterwards and to find more information on the website and learn more. We also have a set specific EDI resources for you, as many countries or overseas, they may have different standards or distinct cultures, norms, and political landscape. So we also have a dedicated page for set region-specific resources for students before or prepare you in advance. We're also committed to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for everyone, so we work closely with accessibility services to ensure resources are made available for students living with disabilities or diverse learning needs. And all this information can also be found on our website alongside with Accessibility Services Office. But we ask students to register early with accessibility services prior to the program start date so that we can support you better. And lastly, our office also offer an Inclusion, Diversity, and Excellence Award for students that will contribute to the advancement to the equity, diversity, and inclusion during the program. There are 4 different awards ranging of different amount of money. So feel free to use the QR code, scan for more information, and find out more. Almost to the end of the presentation, just want to review the timeline here. The application will start from December 5th, which will be tomorrow. And at 10 a.m., you will begin to able to submit your application, but you have time to January 14th to complete your application. Keep in mind that this year, we will have both the written part component and also the video assessment, and both should be submitted by the January 14th deadline. And for the rest of the program, you will have time till February 4th to submit your application. And follow us on the Instagram, where we will post more updated information. And during the summertime, when the program begins, we'll also have a program takeover showcasing students' experience overseas. Here's more information how to reach out to us or how to communicate with us. Keep in mind, everything is being recorded for the formal part of the presentation, and you can find more information on our website regarding all the updates. That will conclude all the formal part of the presentation.